Hello, I'm Professor Seong-Heui Kim from the Department of Nursing at Daejeon University. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present at this conference. The title of my paper is Major Determinants of International Nurse Migration from India, with special reference to Kerala nurse. From now on, let me present my article. Presentation order is as follows. Introduction, nurse migration from India and Kerala. Third, work conditions and economic factors. Fourth, kinship networks and symbolic capital. 5, conclusion. First, introduction. The world could face a shortage of 30 million nurses by 2030 if there is no effort to expand sufficient training courses for nurses and maintain manpower in healthcare centers. Since the onset of the COVID pandemic, there has been a shortage of approximately 6 million nursing personnel worldwide. In this situation, naturally, international nurse immigration is expected to increase in the coming future. Wealthier countries draw nurses from low and middle-income countries, exacerbating the critical shortage of nurses in those regions. Currently, India serves as one of the main sources of international nurse immigration, with Kerala being the primary contributor among its 28 states, even though there is an estimated shortfall of 2.4 million nurses in India, while more than 600,000 Indian nurses are working abroad. Therefore, it is worthwhile to study the major determinants of international nurse immigration in India with a particular focus on Kerala. This study aims to analyze major determinants of international migration of nurses in Kerala, India, focusing on economic and social-cultural factors. This study will analyze qualitatively based on existing prior studies. Next, nurse migration from India and Kerala. Kerala has a long tradition of its citizens, including nurses migrating overseas and to other parts of India for employment. Kerala has the highest human resource development index among the 8 union territories and 28 states of India as per the Global Data Rep 2021. See Table 1. However, many Kerala professionals, including nurses, have been unable to find jobs in the state and have migrated to new jobs both domestically and internationally. Kerala has a particularly high level of female education. The proportion of female college enrollment in Kerala is much higher than that of male college enrollment. However, despite Kerala's highest female human resource development index in India, the state's female labor force participation rate is surprisingly low in rural and urban areas at 29.5% and 25.2% respectively. This is precisely why highly educated professional women like nurses are unable to find jobs in Kerala and are moving to other states in India or abroad to seek work. Therefore, it is necessary to analyze the factors that determine why they leave Kerala and migrate abroad. Next, I present work conditions and economic factors as the determinant of international migration. The determinants of international migration are diverse and complex. However, the most important factor among most determinants is economic factors, such as low wages and poor working conditions. The determinants of migration for Kerala nurses, particularly working in private hospitals, are no exception. Nurses working in private hospitals are generally treated worse than nurses working in state hospitals due to low wages, poor working conditions, and unstable employment. It has been confirmed that nurses who graduated from private nursing schools choose international migration much more because of these differences. Therefore, many scholars point out that low wages and poor working conditions, especially in the private sector, as the fundamental causes of international nurse migration in India, especially in Kerala. Despite poor working conditions and long working hours in Kerala's private hospitals, the issue of low wages has remained unresolved. Due to such poor working conditions and wages, nurses working in private hospitals in Kerala have used to take on strike to improve their welfare. In 2023, nurses from 30 private hospitals in Kerala's Thrissur district went on strike demanding a minimum daily wage of rupee 1,500. In Kerala, the exact minimum wage is not set, but in Telangana, a similar South Indian state to Kerala, a staff nurse with a bachelor scholarship nurse degree is getting a minimum of rupee 21,094 Korean currency around 358,000 won per month as of January 2024. For registered nurses with less than 5 years of experience, the minimum wage is rupee 17,012, around 289,000 Korean won per month. Fourth, kinship networks and family capital. India is a family-oriented society. Therefore, if there are relatives living abroad, they use their information, human and material networks to migrate abroad. Traditionally, Kerala people include nurses have migrated to the Middle East, which is geographically close to their hometown. The Middle East has traditionally accounted for about 89% of Kerala's total overseas migration. In recent years, the migration of Kerala nurses has expanded to Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Indians acquire various information through their relatives and friends who have already gone abroad and go abroad through them. Not only nurses, but also people in other professionals often invite their relatives after going abroad, the relatives and friends. This kind of chain migration can be found in many parts of the world among Indian communities. It is also known that strong alumni networks at the nursing college. The Kerala Nurses and Midwives Council recognizes over 100 nursing colleges today, allow the graduates to secure channels of migration. It is also very important for nurses who have established themselves as the largest group of female professionals in Kerala to accumulate symbolic capital that will enable them to continuously strengthen their competitiveness while receiving appropriate treatment as professionals. Unfortunately, however, girl nurses are still not receiving appropriate treatment socially, despite their high level of education and professional occupations. Due to the low social treatment, Kerala nurses often receive excessive dowries when they get married. Due to this low social treatment of Kerala nurses, Professor Mary Joseph, who guides nurses in the field, confesses the reality that Kerala provides the best theory and practice to nurses, but does not value their professionalism. It was relatively easy for daughters of Kerala Christian families who had to pay a lot of dowry to become nurses compared to other professional occupations. This was because the competing Hindu upper castes considered the nursing profession tattoo. It is extremely rare of Hindu upper castes to choose nursing as a profession. Hindus say that the reason they do not raise their daughter as nurses is not because of the concept of purity, but because of the issue of respectability. It is a matter of respectability because nurses work night shifts, have to talk to strangers, and are away from their families in hospitals. It is. As a result, daughters of low middle class Syrian Christian families emerged as a leading force in the nursing field in Kerala and India. The poor treatment of nurses in Kerala society has been a factor in forcing these nurses to go abroad. Last conclusion. Internal factors such as wage, work environment, and opportunity are important determinants of nurses' migration. But external factors such as kinship networks and symbolic capital have also been confirmed to be important determinants of nurses' migration abroad from Kerala, India. In fact, this is not just a problem for Kerala nurses, but most people who migrate internationally from India migrate due to push factors rather than pull factors. This study was confirmed in Gary's study on migrant women. Therefore, rather than emphasizing the sacrifice of nurses, who experience low wages, poor working conditions, and low social awareness like those in Kerala, India. The government as well as related organizations should support them with policies so that they can be properly treated as individuals engaged in professional work, and society should improve this awareness through education and public campaigns. With this, I'll finish my presentation. If you have any questions, please ask me at this email, my email. Thank you for your attention.